Hi, I'm Sherry from Epicenter, and today we're going to talk about stress. I've invited Lorraine, a counsellor, to give us some input on what is stress, how do we manage it. Lorraine, what's stress and how do we manage it?
Well, let's first of all determine that there is good stress and there's bad stress. Most of us look at it and say there's only bad stress. So what would be good stress?
Well, I would imagine somebody Olympic runner, stressed before a race, and that gives them extra energy when you're doing a presentation, and
Yes.
there's a slight degree of stress, but once you start, you feel okay. I would imagine that's good stress. It makes you work harder.
Exactly. So a certain amount of stress is essential in order to be able to extend yourself. Another little component of good stress is that when we are moving towards a goal, when we feel that we're actually making progress. Bad stress is when we feel we're getting nowhere, we're just plodding through wet mud. That is a feeling of helplessness. No matter what you do, you just don't seem to make reach any milestones. That is what is really bad for you.
Alternatively, when the stress levels are so high, you can't cope.
Yes, total burnout. Yeah.
So tell us, how do you recognize if you have bad stress?
A sense, as you said, of helplessness, hopelessness, can't cope. And stress will result in psychosomatic symptoms. They will ultimately lead to ill health. So it will manifest in your headaches and your backaches and your stomach aches. Also to remember that we come back to awareness. We cannot escape this. So when I'm focused on the problem, that is going to be really stressful, as opposed to focusing on solutions.
Worrying about the deadline that's coming rather than how do I meet
Exactly.
the deadline.
So awareness, where are my thoughts?
It's to focus on the solution,
Yes.
not the problem.
Back to responsibility, back to awareness.
But give us some skills to manage stress.
Well, one very simple way that all of us can do, if we can break it up into two areas. Imagine we draw a circle of concern, and into that we put all the things that are worrying us. Having looked at that, we can draw another circle, which we call our circle of influence, and we write into that circle the things that we have power over. For example, if I've got a dinner party and it's outside in the garden and it's going to rain, what influence do I have over the rain? Exactly. So I could work myself into an incredible state over something over which I have no control. So it's to look at what is making you stressed and then say, where do I have influence? Write down the areas where you have some control. You have influence to change things. Put your focus onto that. And the more you focus onto things that you can do as opposed to where you can't do anything, so that area of concern will shrink, your area of influence will increase, and while you might be working under pressure, your stress, that damaging stress, is reduced.
It's a bit like being stuck in a traffic jam.
Exactly.
And getting stressed that you're missing that meeting. And it's very stressful when you're stuck in traffic.
Yes.
It's to rather focus on how do you communicate with the people, because you can't move the cars.
Yes.
I mean, getting so frustrated and hooting and trying to go forward, it's not going to help you. It's going to make you more stressed.
Yes.
Turn the radio on, make a phone call.
Yes.
It's a much more productive way of listening to some decent music.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that while you're trying to move to that end point, the solution, what about exercise and diet? How does that affect our ability to cope with stress?
Yes. Well, simple way of saying that is we've got to learn ways to calm our minds. If you think of an animal that's in a zoo, the stress causes it to pace up and down. So working off stress, energy, using that energy in physical activity is very practical. You watch yourself. When you're anxious, you'll pace around talking on your cell phone. So walking, running, anything outside that where there's positive energy, that can also be part of your circle of influence.
Management of your stress.
Exactly. Work on yourself as well as on the circumstances.
So if you have to sum up managing stress, the first thing is to focus on what you can influence rather than what you're concerned about.
Yes.
The second thing is to focus on the solution rather than the problem.
Yes.
And then as you're moving towards that solution is to look at your physical support structures, and that is talking, I would imagine,
Yes.
to get rid of that adrenaline, and physical exercise
Yes.
is very, very critical in stress management.